Welcome back to another episode of Timebreaker Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel.
And I'm Anthony.
And welcome to episode 29. And this time we're talking about all the goodies that got announced at Comic-Con summer of 2022. And this was a big Comic-Con, big kind of return to form. MCU came back with a lot of announcements, and we got a couple announcements from other couple studios. So this wasn't really a planned episode, but since so much ground was covered, we just decided to come on here and give a little update, and give our 2 cents on all the announcements that came out.
Yeah, and we still have a lot planned for August, but we figured we could actually do a whole video on all the announcements, because I think when we were talking about it in the last episode, we were really thinking it was going to be like a smaller amount of announcements, especially from the MCU, and I personally was shocked with the amount announced.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought, especially because they have D23 coming pretty soon, later in the year. I thought they were going to hold back a little bit, but no, we ended up getting the confirmed end of phase 4, which is sooner than I thought. And then we got all of phase 5, and we even got supposedly we got like the framework for phase 6, which is more than I thought we were going to get for sure.
Yeah, I figured we were going to touch in the phase 5, but I thought phase 6 was completely off the table. But before we jump into the MCU, since I feel it's going to take the bigger portion of this video, let's talk about the other announcements that were made there. So we had Warner Brothers showing us that Shazam 2 teaser trailer or official trailer. Not sure if it's teaser or official, but we finally have a trailer for it.
Right, yeah. And this is one that we've talked about, because we've been concerned with its release date, going up against that Avatar 2 in December. So this movie needs as much love and support as it can get. And I love the first Shazam movie. It's probably one of my, definitely top 5, probably maybe higher DCEU films. I just love the character, love the idea, and I think Zachary Levi does a great job as the character. And this just trailer delivered. It was a lot of fun, and wants me to just jump right back into the world.
Yeah, I would agree the same. The trailer was really good, and I'm really looking forward to what they're bringing out with the sequel.
Yeah, and Shazam's got a lot of cool mythology, and it's got a bit of that team up, and it's got that like kid wonder to it. So it's a very unique style in its storytelling. And hopefully, we get to see with the development of like Black Adam, and who knows what's going on with Superman, to see like all 3 of those entities fill the screen one time might be a cool treat, and it might be sooner than we think.
Yeah, I'll hold all the stuff off until December. The trailer definitely has me excited. The DCU as a whole, though, it's kind of in a state of flux, and I'm not exactly excited or not excited. I'm definitely just kind of sitting back and seeing what they're doing. But thankfully, Shazam, I feel, is kind of in its own territory, and I think we're going to get a good film, regardless of if it's connected with the DCU or not.
Right. Yeah. We talked about how like Marvel early phase 4 was kind of struggling, to find its footing, while DC, we were praising it a lot, with movies like, Shazam, with the Suicide Squad and other, big hits that they were pushing out, but yeah, recently, especially with like all the casting drama of their upcoming films, I think you just got to take it as a per film basis. And, the next one they got coming up is Black Adam, and then we got Shazam. So I'm optimistic for Shazam, and I'm intrigued for Black Adam. So far for the rest of the year, I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, Black Adam, I'm at least intrigued enough that I'm definitely probably going to go see it in the theaters. It looks interesting, and The Rock is pretty good in most movies, so maybe he'll carry that movie, maybe he won't. The Comic-Con trailer was pretty short for it, so there's not really much there.
Right. Yeah. I was kind of surprised, since we already got like a teaser trailer for it, if you will. And since it's coming out, here in a couple of months, I would have thought we would have gotten this like a bigger, more official trailer. And I was surprised to see like a kind of 1 minute sizzle reel, but you take what you get.
Yeah, one of the biggest announcements that didn't happen that I figure kind of needs to be on the plate if it's ever going to happen. I was shocked Warner Brothers didn't either confirm nor deny if we are getting a Fantastic Beasts 4 or 5. Um, I'm shocked that it's now been almost 4 months since it came out and no word is out on what exactly is going on. And maybe that's good. Maybe Warner is restructuring and telling Rawling that it needs to be one last installment, or maybe it's completely shelved with the new direction that Warner Brothers is going in.
Right. And we talked about how like Warner is in amidst, a huge shift in, like leadership with and how they're handling their projects moving forward, taking financial risks and whatnot. And another one that people were kind of surprised that didn't get any like official announce or date was Batman too.
Yeah, they confirmed it was in the works. Matt Reeves is back, so is Robert Pattinson. But yeah, I was shocked to hear nothing since I figured this would be the time to at least give us like a general idea of when they are hoping to get it out. Personally, I'm thinking more along the Nolan trilogy. We're probably looking at early 2025, probably at the earliest, and potentially even 2026 if you're going off to Dark Knight Rises difference in release schedule.
Yeah, I mean, like we're excited to have it. Both of us really enjoyed the movie, and we were just surprised to see like because it's been such a big hit for them that they have waited, any kind of announcement or news for that movie, officially yet. But we know it's coming, so we'll wait.
Moving on though, the other thing that got announced that we were super excited for at Comic Con was we got our first look at John Wick Chapter 4, and my goodness, it looks crazy.
Yeah, it picks off, a thing I like about these John Wick movies is like there's not really a lot of breathing room between movies. Like, so I mean, technically you could kind of sit down and just watch them, and there's like no time in between. And this one's looking like that too. We're getting a sense of like everybody versus John Wick. It was kind of like that in John Wick 3, but they're really doubling down on that premise for 4. We got some cool casting for this new one, and I hope they up the stakes and everything. The one thing I will say is, and I think you share this opinion too, is that 3 might have been my least favorite. I felt like it was just almost mindless action, and there wasn't a lot under the hood, keeping me engaged story wise. So hopefully they kind of reel it back, still give me some good set pieces, but kind of a little bit more streamlined story.
Yeah, the best way I'd describe it is Chapter 4 definitely it looks more grounded because I felt 3 was just all over the place and it just got insane with the world they're trying to build. And I don't know, I think that was the bigger disappointment, was like things that we had heard from the first and second movie, they kind of played out in 3, and then the result was kind of disappointing, where it kind of looks like 4 scaling it back, bringing it more into the action and bringing more substance to it. So hopefully 4 is much better than 3. Not to say 3 was bad, I'd still watch it any day of the
Right.
week, but I would definitely like 4 to be closer to 2 or 1 than another 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anything's coming to that like initial shock value of 1, but something like that would be cool.
Yeah. And then
And
the other last thing that isn't really Comic Con related, but definitely has been around this week, the Oppenheimer teaser trailer has come out for the film next July.
right, and it was playing in theaters exclusively for Nope, which I didn't see. Anthony did see, but it officially dropped online. And it's quite a unique thing because Universal is doing this thing where they're kind of just live streaming it on all platforms versus like just a video that you can watch, because there's like this ticking countdown clock in the trailer, and what they're doing is they're actually live updating the clock every time the trailer loops so that the time in the trailer is actually like accurate to how long until the movie comes out, which I don't know if it's ever been done before. I think it's a really cool concept. It's different, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely something different. And the best way to describe what's going on with Oppenheimer is I really think Universal is trying to show Nolan that we can be your studio. And I think they're really trying to win him over. So this isn't just a one and jump back to Warner Brothers. I think they really want Nolan to stay with them. And the fact that pretty much he has a star-studded cast, they gave him a huge budget. I mean, I think they're showing exactly what they want.
Yeah, they're giving him full, like, full faith and, whatever he wants. And this is a movie, that we talked about is most likely going to be the last of its kind. It's a war biopic character piece drama that's going to be in a summer blockbuster window that's going to go up against some big heavy hitters. That isn't going to be huge action heavy, and it's going to be, so far from the looks of it, very slow burn, character centric, and it's even going to be black and white. And like from what we've seen and what we with IMAX cameras. And I can't think of any other person that they'd give $250 million for to shoot a black and white non-action movie and release in the summer other than Christopher Nolan. So I'm excited to see what he's doing with it.
Yeah, I don't think the budget's quite that high. I think it's closer to the 150 million. But regardless, you're looking at probably a PG-13 2 to 3 hour movie, black and white, IMAX. It's a lot of just things you wouldn't expect.
Hey man, I got my price right, because they're gonna pay for the actual nuke that they're gonna drop, that they're gonna record practically.
Yeah, after Nolan slammed a airplane through the building for Tenet.
Yeah, man, you never know.
But that pretty much wraps up all the other things that have happened this week, movie announcement wise and Comic Con announcement wise. But now we're going to move in to the Marvel announcements, which is just ginormous. There's so much to unpack here. Heading off the heels, they dropped a ball telling us that Phase 4 is ending way sooner than expected, and the last film is going to end up being Black Panther: Wakanda Forever on November 11th.
Yeah, they gave us a teaser trailer, which dropped in Comic-Con and then dropped online. And I gotta say, I think it's a really, really solid teaser trailer. It, captures the tone. I thought the song choice was amazing. It really captures all the emotion and the mood that's going to be associated with the film. Doesn't give away that much story, although, my third act sense is tingling in the trailer, but I'll put that aside just to appreciate the work of art that the trailer is.
Yeah, and I think the crazy thing is that by this point in time, when Black Panther was coming out in February, like I think we were already like in the final push for marketing, because Marvel in 2017 was just really like off. Like we got our final trailer for Thor Ragnarok all the way in July for its November release day. I think we got our first look at Black Panther in July for February. And so the fact that we're getting a trailer now, the first look at it, and it's coming out in November, I mean, Marvel's doing something different. They're starting to give us trailers a lot closer to release, and I feel like it's allowing them to hold things closer to the chest if they want to. Granted, they're not, but if they wanted to, they could definitely hold more things back.
Yeah, and the big teaser at the end is the Black Panther, and people have suspicions on who I think it is. I guess the leading theory is that it's going to be Shuri. Curious to see if they end up revealing it in like the official trailer, or if they still wait for the actual movie to show it. What do you think?
It really just depends on if we even get another trailer. We're pretty close to release date that
We're gonna get another trailer.
uh, you know, but technically I feel they could not reveal it in the trailer, but knowing how they've been lately, they probably will.
Right, and just could be me, could just be how I take it, but that last Black Panther trailer looks like a third act final battle shot.
Yeah,
That's
it
just me.
does.
Yeah.
No, it really truly does. But yeah, I mean, phase 4 probably still gonna go down as just a very weird phase. But phase 5 looks much more connected and like it's leading towards something, or at least with some of the villains that are showing up. And it kind of, I don't know why, but like looking at the slate for phase 5 made me feel like it was a return to form, but I'm not sure if you got the same feeling from it.
No, I definitely feel like it's more streamlined. And me personally, if you guys have been listening to the podcast, I've been on this little off again, on again thing with the MCU. A lot of that has to do with the recent quality of their films, and also their TV hasn't really hit for me. And some of these really piqued my interest. Some of them I couldn't care less about. But yeah, there seems to be a lot of titles in here that are really hinting towards at least some of the stuff that they announced in Phase 6, and we're going to be talking about that later. But yeah, let's just go down the list right here. Starting off with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is one of them that cautiously optimistic of. I love the first Ant-Man. Second one was kind of a mid, but I hear that they're going in a different direction with this one, and we're also getting Kang as a villain in this film. So hopefully, it's going to really set the bar for what we are going to expect. Moving forward in the phase.
Yeah, and I felt the one thing that the two Ant-Man movies before it could have had a better time with was Ant-Man 1 came out right after Age of Ultron. It was also a summer release, and then Ant-Man the Wasp definitely got slammed by it because it was again a summer release, but also was following in the foot of Infinity War. Uh, and while I liked Ant-Man the Wasp as like a palate cleanser because the end of Phase 3 was just so much, and so just to have this kind of on its own adventure for it was kind of fun to have, just slapped in the middle between Infinity War and Endgame. But I think that Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania could potentially earn more than its predecessors, having a February release date now instead of being in the heat of summer. And on top of that, yeah, having Kang as the villain is very intriguing. And, it kind of just gives this idea that Phase 5 is more collected and it knows what it's going towards, having him be the sole focus here right at the beginning of Phase 5.
Yeah, and then also just to add on really quick, shout out Peyton Reed, second filmmaker to complete a trilogy in the MCU.
Yeah, congratulations. It's a rare feat. And,
Only 3 people are going to do it.
yeah. Moving on, we have Secret Invasion coming out next spring with Nick Fury and Samuel L. Jackson back. We don't really know much about it, but the idea of it, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, is this with the scrolls? Is that what they're kind of teasing at?
Yeah, it's the Scrolls and Nick Fury and
Okay, so yeah,
something else is going on. At least, granted, I don't really dig much into the TV side of things. I kind of just wait for it to unfold because if I get too hyped for it, the way Disney Plus releases, it's like, and I'm going to be hyped for it to come out, and I got to wait all these weeks, and I'd rather just find out as I watch.
yeah. So I mean, at least from the TV series on this palette right here for Phase 5, I'm probably pretty intrigued by it. Like Nick Fury, I'm excited to see what they do with it. It's not my most anticipated, but I might give it a shot.
Yeah. Outside of that, we got our, attendees got their first look, but we still have not. But I imagine we'll get one later this year. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be hitting theaters on May 5th. And, it's James Gunn's closure of his trilogy. Probably our last, or the way they're putting it, our last look at this group of Guardians. I'm not necessarily sure they're saying it the right way. I'm pretty sure at least Drax is bowing out, but I'm not 100% sure anyone else is really bowing out. But we'll have to find out and see.
Yeah, I mean, the way it seems like is like there might be Guardians of the Galaxy, but there'll be different Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm excited to see that if this is like the true end to like this group. Um, loved Guardians one of my favorite MCU movies. Second one, not so much. But hopefully, with all the emotions and stuff, in addition of Adam Warlock, this will be a good final one to solidify it for me.
Yeah, and having him right off the heels of Suicide Squad, and I heard Peacemaker was great, so I'm really hoping this is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 is one of my favorite MCU movies. Volume 2, I hold it up pretty highly, but I know that Daniel holds it a little bit lower than me, but I have my hopes up for this one. It's probably if not the most excited, it is one of my most anticipated movies for Phase 5.
For sure.
Moving on, we have Echo, which this is the female protagonist or sorry, the female villain from
Hawkeye,
Hawkeye, correct?
Kingpin's niece or something. Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll watch it. Not really looking forward. Like I'm not like anticipating it. Like I'll probably watch it when it comes out, but it's not really on my anticipation list. I completely forgot this was even going to be a show.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's just a blip on the radar, and it's just gonna keep on going.
Yeah, that's the apparently the first release in summer 2023. The second release is Loki season 2.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
what I've heard about Loki is the fact that it was originally supposed to be one season of 12 episodes, but because of COVID and all that, they had to split it up and only do the first 6. And this is pretty much so the second half of that original planned season.
Right, yeah, and I mean, absolutely love Loki. It might be my favorite MCU show so far, and they do a really good job of explaining the multiverse and how everything works, and so hopefully this will inform a little bit more of the greater phase at work.
Yeah, and I feel we'll probably see more of King in this. Maybe get some more multiverse stuff in here, and overall, I'm really looking forward to this getting that conclusion that you don't really get from the ending of season 1.
Right, yeah, and then we get to our next feature film with the Marvels. Bit iffy on this one. Not gonna lie, wasn't too crazy about Captain Marvel. Not too crazy about any of the Marvel characters, if I'm gonna be real with you. But I'll check out a trailer. I'll see what I think, and it's probably gonna be super important to the whole story because she's one of the few remaining Avengers members. So I guess I gotta check it out.
Yeah, I have not watched Miss Marvel yet, but I've heard really good things, and it's on my watch list as well as Moon Knight. I'm just really backed up on the TV slate. I really liked Miss Marvel from the Avengers video game, but I haven't been able to see her in the TV show. I think this is probably perfectly placed where it is on the release schedule. Marvel's kind of returning to that late July, early August, which we saw with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, which worked really well for it. And I think personally for this movie, I think it's a perfect release date, and I think it could do really well there, even with Oppenheimer coming out the week before.
Yeah, and then that leads us into another feature film that I'm actually really looking forward to, and that's Blade. With Mahershala Ali. I think he's a fantastic actor, Academy Award winner, and I'm excited to see what he does with this. And hopefully, we might get to see Kit Harington too.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to show up because of the fact that they confirmed that it was his voice that was in that room with him at the end of Eternals.
Right.
And so I'm hoping he's in it. I don't know if he'll like fully be in it, but I imagine at the least he'll cameo.
Yeah, and then next TV show we got is Ironheart, and got to be completely honest with you, my anticipation level for this show solely depends on how well she's introduced in Black Panther too.
Yeah, I've heard her comic arc, people really love it. And so I'm hoping she gets a good introduction in Black Panther, and then pretty much that leads into me being anticipated to watch this show.
Yeah. And then what I'm not anticipated is Agatha Coven of Chaos. To be honest, I thought we dealt with Agatha. Apparently the internet loved her, which spawned a TV show, but I don't really see the purpose of this or why like it's contributing to the ultimate, saga, if you will. So probably gonna skip this one, not gonna lie.
Yeah, this is one of those this is probably the first time I've ever felt that something was made purely due to fans and really had no reason even being here. But speaking of fans got exactly what they asked for when Marvel announced that we're getting a new Daredevil show coming in spring 2024, and it's going to be the biggest Disney Plus show we've seen to date, with a whole whooping 18 episodes, which is just crazy by any means.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. And considering all the other appearances that Daredevil's been making, Spider-Man No Way Home, he's gonna be in She-Hulk, he's gonna be in Echo. We're gonna be seeing a lot of Daredevil. And so I think it all just depends on which Daredevil are we seeing. Are we seeing Netflix Daredevil, or are we seeing, a new PG Daredevil? That's gonna be the question fans are dying to see answered.
Yeah, I'm very interested how they're going to deal with this because they've introduced him in Spider-Man, but they haven't really discussed like if he's already like Daredevil, like on the streets, which my guess is no, because we haven't heard of him. And so in that case, that throws out the idea that it's a continuation of the Netflix series, and uh, you know, Hawkeye kind of confirmed that because Kingpin is not the same character as the one in the TV show, and so, I'm very interested to see what they do. I heard people really liked his costume that he had in the Netflix show, so I'm curious if they'll bring that back. But yeah, 18 episodes, kind of crazy. I figured with that many episodes, like, why is this one season and not just multiple seasons? But Marvel's thing has really been to throw out only one season for each show, so I guess in that sense, it makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Moving along, we have Captain America 4. This is going to be the third Marvel movie to get, well, third Marvel series to get a fourth installment, technically, even though it's really uh, Captain America as kind of a sequel slash reboot because it's a whole new actor. So I kind of treat it as the start of a new series, but you could call it Captain America 4.
Right. Yeah. New World Order. I don't know if that's an existing storyline or whatever with the comics, but I think we've kind of seen what they're hinting at. Especially if you watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm excited to see Anthony Mackie in the role. Hopefully, we get Bucky Barnes too, and I'm excited to see what they're cooking up on this one.
Yeah. The last film so far for Phase 5 is Thunderbolts in July of 2024, and I personally have no idea what this is about. But I know people were super excited for it.
Yeah. So my understanding, I haven't read any comics, but this is kind of like the equivalent to Suicide Squad, a little different. It's the new Captain America. It's all the Abomination. It's all those people. That team that she's putting together. Kind of. It's like those people.
Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds like a fun end of summer movie. That's really all I can say about it since I don't really know much more about it. My question is with Disney's recent, I heard their animated series, Marvel Zombies, is going to be the first officially made for Disney Plus TVMA show. And so I'm just kind of curious if maybe outside of Deadpool, maybe we might be seeing some R-rated movies because I've heard Blade is a very R-rated series. So I'm curious if that's going to get an R rating or Thunderbolts because again, Villain Group kind of just gives me that like feeling of an R rating. But yeah, that's just kind of a thought to throw out.
My money's on no, but I mean it's always a possibility.
Yeah, but that is all of Phase 5. It's a lot right now. Definitely curious to see how it all goes out. But let's move on to Phase 6 in this multiverse saga that it's now called, Phases 4 through 6. The first installment coming on November 8th, 2024, announced all the way at the back end of 2019, I think. I think this was announced at Comic Con 2019, but we're finally getting Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's been a while. They finally got the rights, and I think the only thing that's missing that will kind of judge whether or not we're excited is the cast. We kind of know that they're not really doing the whole origin thing. I mean, I hope so because we've already gotten that twice. So it'd be cool to just kind of see a new team in the MCU, kind of as their own unit, and see what they got. Maybe introduce Doctor Doom or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm definitely curious to see what the rest of the cast is going to look like. I have a feeling they're going to bring John Krasinski back as Mr. Fantastic. That's just the feeling I have. They could totally go a different route and recast, but that's my feeling. The fact that this is the first installment in Phase 6 has me with this feeling that the Fantastic Four are either going to play a part or they're going to appear in the next two films that have been announced for Phase 6, and that is the next two Avengers movies, Avengers The Kang Dynasty in May 2025 and Avengers Secret War in November 2025.
Yes, major shockers that we got two Avengers movies in the same year. It's never been done before, unprecedented. We've also never got an Avengers movie in November. So a lot of breaking new ground here for the MCU. We know these movies are going to be absolutely huge. We just got the announcement that the Shang-Chi director is going to be helping Kang Dynasty, which couldn't be happier for him. I absolutely love Shang-Chi. And Kevin Feige might be telling you, no Russo brothers for Secret Wars. I'm gonna tell you right here first, the Russo brothers are coming back for Secret Wars. No insider intel, but I'm just putting it out there right now. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I figured just with how close the two release dates were that we were just gonna see kind of a rehash of what we saw with Infinity War and Endgame, and this was going to be a story that's 2 films long, with the same director directing both parts, filming over the course of I think almost a full year. But I'm now that we're a week later, I'm not getting that feeling because they've already announced the director for Kang Dynasty and yet completely kept Secret Wars without a director, which has me feeling that either they're very separate movies or while they're still connected, they want someone else, the Russo brothers, to come back and finish off this multiverse saga that they've put towards this path. I'm not 100% sure that Secret Wars is going to keep that November release date. Personally, to me, it seems way too fast to not get one, but two Avengers movies out within 6 months of each other. I don't know. I think it may get moved. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely don't know, and we also got to take into account that there's probably going to be, one or two other movies, in that mix too, as well as a couple TV shows. We didn't get any Armor Wars update, stuff like that. So definitely an option to look out for. And while they say that no Russo brothers, I just feel like this is the end of another saga. So they got a lot of wrap up, a lot of pressure. They want somebody that they know they can count on to deliver. We've heard that the Russos got a lot of love for this story in particular, and the fans of the Russos. So it just seems like a very safe bet to bring them back for this movie, and because you just know that they can handle that, versus putting it on somebody new that you don't know if the fans are gonna embrace or if they're gonna deliver.
Yeah, and the other thing I could see happening, there's nothing on the internet about this. This is just a thought I have. Um, Potentially what we could see, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it'd be kind of crazy if it did, because we have this. I feel like they are concrete on King Dynasty, but imagine if a year from now, so maybe next summer or something, they announce that the Russo brothers are coming back for Secret Wars, but that the scope and scale and the story that they want to present is so big that now Avengers Secret Wars Part 1 drops May 2026 and Part 2 drops May
No.
2027.
No, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't want that to happen.
I don't want it to happen, but I could potentially see it happening.
I'm telling you right now that that's not gonna happen because the Russos aren't gonna do a part one, part two.
Fair.
They said that took too much from their lives, from their kids, from just the long hours of just making two movies at once back to back. I think that's too much for them to do again.
All right, fair. But yeah, that's really it for Marvel. We still have D23 Expo in September that we could see more announcements. I have a feeling we're gonna finally get a Deadpool 3. Maybe not release window, but it'll officially, maybe get a year that they're aiming towards. Outside of that, I'm not sure what other movie announcements they could have. The slate looks pretty full to be putting out a Doctor Strange sequel or another Thor movie or Shang-Chi now that he's working on Avengers King Dynasty. So yeah, I mean, I have no idea what they're going to announce at D23, but I imagine they still got something up their sleeve.
Oh yeah, I imagine it's gonna be more casting or some of those TV spots for Phase 6, but we'll see.
Yeah, and on top of that, on our next video, we're going to be talking about Bullet Train and the Gray Man. And then we have a feeling that we're going to start talking about the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings trilogy in September. And so that when the Amazon series ends, we can talk about that when it finishes airing.
Yeah, just kind of release those episodes in anticipation for the Lord of the Rings show, and just keep in spirit of Middle Earth, and finally I can sit down and talk about my favorite movies. But yeah, It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and that kind of wraps our video up.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, whatever platform. Be sure to follow us, drop a like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Appreciate you. Catch you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Timebreaker Podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on all our socials and make sure you're up to date with whenever the next episode's dropping. We'll see you then.